anything concerning the activities of state assemblies in Nigeria, that time will be the opportunity for you to raise your question. 10:30, we will open the phone lines then, and we will announce the numbers then. But for now, we will just have a discussion with the Director General of the conference. Once again, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Let's start this way. Can you bring us up to speed on the activities of your conference? Because I remember that the last time you were here, you spoke a lot about what you were doing and what you were planning to do.
Thank you very much. Conference of Speakers House, you have correctly put, in your introductory remarks, was set up with the return of democracy in 1999 by the pioneer speakers of the State House of Assembly then. The chief aim was to ensure that we deepen the roots of democracy through the legislative arm. And again, we want to ensure that the State House of Assembly will be better positioned to carry out their constitutional responsibility to meet the goals and the yearnings and the aspirations of the people. So in doing that, we have engaged in many activities to ensure that we ultimately bring about good governance in the country. Last time, like you said, we talked about some activities, and we have started some recently on the 28th, on the 25th of November, last week, I guess. We were in two states, Oyo and Katsina, to flag off pilot operation of digitalization project. The Conference of Speakers wants to put in place e-parliament by digitizing the processes of the state legislatures across the states. This is to ensure that we open up governance, we enhance on transparency, accountability, to ultimately ensure that we have good governance. We believe that because we're in digital era now, and one of the best ways to carry out activities, even in governance now, is to ensure that you digitize the processes. By doing that, many people will be, or more people will be involved in governance, which is ultimately going to bring about better ways of handling things, more inputs, more contributions. The people whose the lawmakers are doing their work in the state, in their respective state house of assembly, will be better carried along, and they will be better informed. You observe that in most of the legislative houses, not limited to Nigeria, you have galleries in the hallowed chambers. It was designed to ensure that people come around to observe the proceedings, to monitor the proceedings of the state, of the legislative activities. But you see, that is gradually becoming, is gradually becoming outdated. It's not in fashion. Obsolete. No longer it's no longer fashionable. Let me put it that way. Now, why? Because you agree with me that there are many states, for instance, in Nigeria, that to move from one part of such state to the city center, to the capital city, it takes a long time, distance, and of course, resources to get there. So it's no longer encouraging. It's not encouraging for people.
And exciting.
You understand? And excited to leave their respective communities to go to the state capital where the state house of assembly
is located.
So that is why I say it's becoming. It's no longer fashionable. Now, these people, however, must still be carried along in the processes of representing, lawmaking, and what have you. So, and one of the ways to do that, effective way for that matter, is to ensure that regardless of the distance, they still follow by ensuring there is a e-parliament, there is a live stream. I mean, live streaming
of
the proceedings, interactive website, and e-parliament, and so on. This will enable you in the at the corner of your office, your house, to contribute meaningfully, to monitor what is going on, to check and ensure that your representative is actually doing what he was elected to do. So that we believe that ultimately is going to bring about good governance. It's going to bring about more efficiency, effectiveness. It's going to save time. It's going to save resources. So that is one of the projects that the Conference of Speakers is actually working on with the support of UNDP. So the phase we are in now, we have done a lot regarding the preliminary stage. We are at the stage of like I said, pilot. So we are going to carry out the pilot operations in those two states, each representing two regions, north and south. So after that, of course, we are going to roll out the project across to other state houses.
And it's going to bring governance closer to the people, and more importantly, it's going to even give the citizens the correct duty and responsibilities of the lawmakers, and they are going to follow this. So I am assuming that as the lawmakers are going through this training and doing this, the backroom staff is also carried along, because a lawmaker is as good as his backroom staff.
Excellent.
The quality of his advisors and everything.
Excellent. Part of it, the aspect of the project actually, there are 4 aspects of the project. Like I said earlier, interactive websites, state-of-art websites, that it's going to be domiciled in the Conference of Speakers Secretariat. Other states House of Assembly will be linked, and you can. It's going to contain a repository of laws, bills, and what have you, that you can access from any part of the world. That is one. E-Parliament is going to do away with paper, work. So you go to many state House of Assembly. You discover you can't believe it how much, sincerely speaking, that is spent on this.
On other papers.
Because each sitting, for instance, they want to deliberate on, or they want to talk about a bill or introduce a bill, they are going to produce that bill to the number of the lawmakers in the House. And at the first reading, they are most likely going to produce another set of the bills, because maybe amendments here and there. So same thing for motion, other paper and other things. It takes time to do all this. It takes more resources, and it's not effective. Sincerely speaking, it's not an effective way of doing this in this age.
Modern age.
So e-Parliament, live streaming, you can watch from anywhere you are. Especially if you are very interested, all you need to do is to tap into whatever platform that is being used to stream it, and you follow. Then the fourth aspect, in order to sustain the project and to actually ensure that the goal of ensuring effectiveness and efficiency is achieved, the people must be trained. Not only the backroom staff, this time, the lawmakers that are going to use these facilities must be trained on how best to use it. And of course, the people, the staff, should also be, they are also going to be trained to sustain it. Because like I said, UNDP is involved, and we have put it on the table, and we are working together on it. And we have said it that the sustainability is also is as important as the project itself. Gone are the days when we put a very expensive project in place, and you discover that it's not sustainable because we do not have required skills and knowledge to drive it. So people will be trained, They are not, however, not going to, they are not only going to be trained in the digital aspect of it, they will be trained in other legislative aspects of it.
Okay, I'm also assuming that this e-governance, the project, will also include something like electronic voting in the assemblies.
Very well.
Yes, because...
Very well.
Okay.
And that is why I'm going to bring of the speaker,
or the presiding
officer, and so on. So
that's a great one. Very encouraging to hear that, and we wish the conference all the best. And I'm sure that when next you come, you will update us on how far you have gone on that. But yes, let's move on to some other issues.
Okay.
The last time you were here, we just had the Supreme Court judgment on the local government finances, and so, not surprisingly, the controversy is still on, and most of the controversy revolves around how the different states are going to manage this. And when we say states, the assemblies, for example, will oversight the local government because of their powers and everything. So, how's the conference? How are the speakers coping with this controversial issue?
The speakers do not have problem regarding the judgment. Like I said the other time, the Supreme Court, that's the Supreme Court of the land. I think what you could do about it now is to perhaps seek for a review of the judgment. You cannot fault it, sincerely speaking. And we believe it has come to stay. We do, like speakers, straight to your question, do not have problems with it. Remember, the State House of Assembly have constitutional duty to make laws for the local government. So, financial autonomy, administrative autonomy, or independence for for local government, it's not a problem. You remember the State House of Assembly themselves have been fighting for the same thing, financial and administrative autonomy for state houses of assembly. We have gone through many constitutional alterations to ensure we actually achieved that through fourth and fifth alteration. So, however, the implementation is still not
yet. Yes, because I was about coming to that because I know that there's still some loose ends to tighten and stuff like that.
So on the local government, no problem. We just had an engagement with the National Assembly, specifically the House of Reps Committee on Constitutional Review under the leadership of the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Ben Kalu, 2 days ago in Transcorp, where we had extensive deliberation on the issues surrounding the local government independence and the election. So it's most likely because there is going to be another proposed constitution amendment to that. The National Assembly is of the opinion that yes, in spite of the Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy for local government, there should still be consequential amendment in the constitution, to also address some areas. So we were there, or the speakers were there, and we are okay. We are good to go with that. So the speakers, State House of Assembly, do not have issues with local government autonomy.
Okay, before we go on, sometimes when I look at your conference, and I look at you as a DG, I don't envy you because the speakers are coming from different political parties. It's a bipartisan conference. How do you get everybody on the same plate to move on and do things?
Thank you very much for the question. It's not easy, but God has been helping, and we have been very careful to observe the neutrality in the way we carry out our duties in the Secretariat. Very well, the speakers are from different political parties, and you just have to be very careful to ensure that the political parties, do not sway wherever what you are going to do ultimately. So like I said, you have to be very guided on how to do it properly. But generally in the Conference of Speakers, the conference is actually blind to political parties. irrespective of political party of the executive committee members, for instance, they have to look at issues dispassionately to ensure that the outcomes or the issues are not partisan. So, and that has been helping, or it has been guiding us all the way, because you agree with me that if you try to be partisan in the way you do things, you're going to mess up the process. So we have been guided by the principle of neutrality to ensure that the goals of the conference are achieved.
Oh, well, it's still Insights on Citizen 93.7 FM, and we have been talking about the Conference of Speakers of State Legislators of Nigeria, and my guest has been Busari Sarafaddin, the Director General of the conference. We will take a short break now, and when we return, more questions and the phone lines will be open. My name is Lawrence Omoite. Please don't go away.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions, music and drama. At Citizen FM, we united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life. Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still Insights on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. And before we went on break, we were talking about the Conference of Speakers of State Legislators of Nigeria, and my guest is Busari Sarafaddin, Director General of the conference. Yes, the phone lines are open now. You can join the conversation. You can call us on 0903 2229797. That's 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818-2222-206. You can also send us a WhatsApp message and let's know what your take is on the discussion so far. Don't forget, we are talking about the Conference of Speakers of State Legislators of Nigeria, and we have as our guest Busari Sarafaddin, Director General. All right, let's look at the challenges of the state legislatures, the state assemblies, for example. And these are the challenges that various speakers try to cope in their different states. One of the roles of the state assembly is oversight. And a lot of people have talked about this. But essentially, how tasking has that been for the state assemblies?
It's been tasking. Oversight function, particularly, and that is where the question of financial autonomy comes in. You are the governor, I'm the lawmaker, I'm going to oversight your project, yet you are going to make money for me to do that available. So if deep in your mind you think what you have done is not worthwhile, will you provide such, that money to oversight you is difficult to do. So, and that is why financial autonomy is very key, that so that the State House of Assembly can stand firm on their own and carry out thorough effective and efficient oversight function. Until we are able to do that, sincerely speaking, that function, that legislative function, will not be seen to have been, properly carried out. The oversight function. The oversight function, however, is not limited to assessing or evaluating the physical project. But its physical project is very key because in the budgets have been earmarked or allocated to projects. It is in line with democratic principles that the lawmakers from time to time align, is it in tune with the resources or funds made available? And remember, it is actually the legislature that approved the budget. So it is within their constitutional responsibility from time to time to check if indeed what has been put in place is in line with what has been planned for or what is in the budget. So, however, youth consultant, there are many projects that are very technical in nature. So you have to engage a technical consultant to ensure, to check control quality, to ensure the viability of such projects and see, like I said, if truly it's up to the standard that was planned in the budget. So if you do not have these resources to carry out this very important legislative function, is a big blow for democracy.
Yes, a lot of people will sympathize with the lawmakers, especially on that point. But there are some who also believe that, yes, that may be there, but there is also the angle of the lawmakers in terms of the preparedness. How prepared is an average lawmaker, a state assembly man, in terms of his capacity? And that's why we talked about the backroom staff. Okay. Because sometimes the lawmakers are not expected to be experts in every field. Well. They are expected to rely heavily on their backroom staff. Well. And most of the time, from experience, I covered the National Assembly for so many years. Those days, I don't know whether it's still on, but those days, what happened is that a lawmaker will rather pick up people from his constituency, brothers, uncles, and everything to fill up his constituency office rather than go for quality staff.
Well, you made a very important point that a lawmaker is not necessarily going to be an expert in the field, especially for which, even in the lawmaking aspect. And that is why democracy, ensures that even a lawmaker can engage support staff to help in carrying out these important functions, of the legislative arm. However, in Nigeria, generally, the democracy is relatively still new in Nigeria. Remember, we said democracy returned in 1999. So, be it state level or national, the lawmakers, to the best of our knowledge, they have been trying to ensure that the responsibility assigned to them by the Constitution are carried out. And that is why you remember in the course of oversight function that we mentioned earlier, I talked about even engaging consultants. At the Conference of Speakers, Secretariat, and in our activities, we have engaged many consultants, frankly speaking. And that is not out of place to do. So, and as for the backup staff in the State House of Assembly, it's all about training and retraining. We believe by doing that, we will get there to ensure that they are, better positioned to carry out their responsibility. Yeah.
Okay. Another issue has always been the constituency project.
Okay.
And a lot of people subject this to different interpretations. Okay. And few people really know what constituency projects are. But all said and done, we know that this was introduced just to make sure that development gets to the people. Yeah. And lawmakers are also politicians. they also need to point at stuff during campaign and everything. But this project has always been muddled up with controversies over the years. Who is doing what? Who just nominates projects, they don't touch the funds. It is being executed by the executive arm of government. But some people say, no, those companies are your cronies and everything. This and this. Understand? Just talk us through this.
Frankly speaking, the constituency project, it's outside the constitutional role of the lawmakers. That is the truth. Execution of projects are exclusively for executive arm of government. Lawmakers, their responsibilities are lawmaking, representation,
and oversight.
Those are the key areas, and those ones are okay for the lawmakers to do, because they are going to ensure that the executive is, doing what it should, the way it should be done. So, if we have, or if there are some lawmakers that are doing constituency projects, it is outside that, but we do not have any knowledge of that, especially in the lawmakers. Like you said, yes, a lawmaker could be interested in a project for his constituency. He can bring it, that is part of the representation. He can bring it up in the proceedings in the House, make executive arm to do it. You can also, within your powers, to monitor it. If the executive is not doing what it should on that project, and this project is very dear to your people, part of your duty as the representative of those people is to ensure that executive does what she should at that time and on the project. But for a lawmaker, to provide funds to, for instance, sink a ball, construct a road and other executive projects, no. That is outside the purview of legislative function.
Okay, I know that as you manage the secretariat of the conference, you are like a think tank manager, and you are supposed to be neutral, while the lawmakers are the people when it comes to lawmakers, especially at the state level. And sometimes I don't envy them because of the kind of pressure there are, expectations from the public. So in your interaction with the lawmakers,
you have issues. You have issues that the lawmaker that is representing you should address to be addressed to the government to look into it. That is fine. But other personal issues that are not necessary, because frankly speaking, I agree with you. There are many diversionary or distracting issues that people bring to the table that shouldn't be. And this, like I said, distract lawmakers from doing what they should.
They are supposed to do at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Okay, because you know why I was asking that? The constituency office of a lawmaker is supposed to be a melting pot of expectations of his constituents and everything they want to make. It's also supposed to be an avenue for him to reach out to his constituents. Now, during your interaction with these lawmakers, do you emphasize on the need of getting the citizens to really know what a constituency office is? For example, you said something, if you're concerned about a project. If you are to talk to citizens, how do you move? How do you get your concerns across to a lawmakers? What are the steps do you take to make sure that if you're concerned about a particular road and this, how do you take it up with your lawmaker?
It's going to be through constituency engagement, frankly speaking. That is one of the ways to actually engage with your representative. And it is expected of you to actually bring all this to the table. However, I must tell you the truth. Much as our leaders we want to do more because we are not there yet. We still expect a lot from them to provide quality leadership for us in the country, both at the state and the federal level. Many are also expected of us, the followers, to also even know what we should engage them with. For instance, bad road. It's not out of place to engage your lawmakers if you have bad road in your constituency. Yes, the lawmaker is not going to provide the funds, but the lawmaker will in turn, bring the attention of the executive arm, whose responsibility it is to fix that, to ensure that the bad road is fixed. But when you get there, instead of doing that, you are talking about other things. You are actually, depriving the lawmaker from knowing the real issues.
Situation on ground.
So you are
We're talking about marriage ceremony, school fees of your children.
Those are not the responsibility of lawmakers, frankly speaking. And many people, and that is why I say there are a lot that we also have to do from our end to ensure, to complement the efforts of our leaders. Many people, as a result of the fact the lawmaker is not able to help you to get more wives, to do more of the ceremony, you are going to measure chieftaincy title. These are unnecessary things. These are personal things to you. It is up to you to do it if you have the means. If you don't have the means, you do not have to engage the lawmaker for that. Unfortunately,
is it a problem of the? Is it
see that the culture? But remember, you discourage even lawmakers from sustaining that engagement with you, because today we meet and instead of you to talk about the needs and issues bordering on the life of people, you're talking personal. So that is going to ensure that such an engagement is not sustained, and it's not good for democracy. Like I said, everybody has a role to play in a democracy.
Exactly. It's still Insight, and we are discussing with Bosare Sarafaddin, who is the Director General Conference of Speakers of State Legislators. And of course, we are talking about the State Assembly's challenges and the way forward. You can call, the numbers are still open, 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818-2222-205 or 0818-2222-206. Yes, I can see the number flashing. If you want to call, you call, and so that you don't engage the line and deprive others from coming in. Mr. Sarafaddin, there is a sticky point about the state assemblies, and it's general. It's a notion that people believe that, the state assemblies are an appendage of the executive. You run the secretariat of the speakers of conference of assemblies. Does this perception bother you at the secretariat?
It doesn't really bother us because most of what people say, frankly speaking, it's not that everything they say is correct about an institution, because most of these statements are not really from well-researched work. Perhaps they mean that the lawmakers or the State House of Assembly have not been doing very well. They have not, and we acknowledge that there is room for improvement. Frankly speaking, we acknowledge, and this, like I said, we have said it before on this program, arm of government. The only arm that was missing then was legislative arm. So with one of the first institutions to suspend is legislature. So the military military government, which we have been practicing before now, doesn't want to hear anything about legislative arm, anything representing the interest of the people. So they do everything to suppress it. Now we have democracy. Frankly speaking, it is not easy to get legislative arm to work the way other arms will work, because it has not been in place before. And that is not to say that we should not do our best to ensure that quality laws, if quality representation, and effective and efficient oversight functions are carried out. We are doing that. I mean, lawmakers at the State House of Assembly particularly are doing that. But we acknowledge that there is a room for improvement. And that is one of the areas that the Conference of Speakers is coming in, to engage with relevant partners, to ensure that we get necessary support to train and retrain lawmakers, for them to know how best to carry out their legislative responsibilities, for them to know how best, particularly to carry out effective and effective representation and quality, to make quality legislation, and also to check the excesses of the executive arm of government, particularly because during military era. There was nothing like checks and balances. So, and that is one of the things we are still, battling with. We are still grappling with that because executive, for instance, the executive governors and other parts of the executive arm, they believe that you cannot even, that whatever they do is final. No, it shouldn't be. Yeah, that is the believe, or that is the way of doing things during military. Now we are in democracy, and the legislative arm is going to ensure that the checks and balances are in place, so that you do not transgress beyond your constitutional boundary. Likewise, judiciary, to carry out this responsibility, frankly speaking, is not easy. And again, to do a lot of things, including even for executive, you need resources to do it. For a very long time, legislative has been deprived of these resources. I gave you an instance before we started that. For instance, I want to oversight your activities, and you are still going to be the one to provide funds for me to do it. You can frustrate that by not releasing the funds. So we are still fighting for financial autonomy. Ultimately, the financial autonomy is to ensure that the lawmakers at the state legislature, National Assembly has its own financial autonomy, is to ensure that the lawmakers at the State House of Assembly is better able to carry out this responsibility. So, frankly speaking, to conclude and say that State House of Assembly are rubber stamp, it is demoralizing. It's not even good. It's not to acknowledge what they have been doing. They have been doing very well to ensure good governance are achieved in their respective states.
Okay, do you believe that this situation, now I'm asking you as a technocrat, when you look at it, do you believe it has anything to do with the emergence of lawmakers in their different states, how they became lawmakers, and that is why their position and their independence is weakened?
Well, that we do not have influence or control over that. How a lawmaker is elected, for instance, it is a function of his popularity in his constituency. And that is what democracy wants, sincerely speaking. It's all about that. You could be, for instance, a professor, the most knowledgeable person. And speak all the English. If you are not popular among your people, they will most likely elect another person that is more popular than you. And when that person is elected, he's going to be given the mandate. And what is the mandate for lawmaker? To carry out these three functions that we have mentioned many times. It is part of the responsibility of the system and the Conference of Speakers to ensure that that person, regardless of the level of his education, provided he must have met the minimum requirement. We believe that. So, regardless of what we think his skill is up to, we have to do more by making him better to perform the responsibility. So,
okay, please let's take this caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, okay. It's cut the call. Okay. Okay, before we round off, I want to have your views on this. The conference of the Governors Forum, for example, has taken a position. I'm talking about the tax reform bill, the controversial tax reform bill. The Governors Forum have taken a position, the Council of State, the Economic Council. Has the Conference of State Legislators ever discussed this tax reform bill?
No, and they are most likely not going to discuss it.
Okay.
Because this, a lot of people, well, it's good for democracy because of the freedom that we have to talk about issues. But I think it's not good for us to start talking about issues that you know little or nothing about. Believe me, most of the people that were talking about this is not to support the bill anyway. But most of the people that were talking about the bill then, they have not even seen
the copy,
not talk of reading it. So why are we then going to talk about it? And again, remember, the president transmitted the bill to the National Assembly. That does not make it a law yet. And the National Assembly is representing every corner
of the country.
We believe if you have issues with the bill, then you can take it to the National Assembly. Remember
through your lawmaker there.
Through your lawmaker. That is why I say every part of the country is being represented by the National Assembly. So subject it to thorough legislative scrutiny. Remember, it's going to pass through stages. There is going to be a stage, I think, after second reading
for public hearing.
People could come. I think we need more understanding of the system. People have every right, frankly speaking, to talk about the bills if they think it's not okay for them. But since the president has submitted it, it has to pass through the legislative scrutiny. So the Conference of Speakers, we are not going to make statements about that because at the state level, the governors also make bills available to State House of Assembly. And it is only fair for such bill to pass through
the whole gamut
of legislation. And like I said, that you submit a bill does not make it pass. It could be amended. I think yesterday, if that is correct, I read that the president, called on the Ministry of Justice and the National Assembly to see to what they can do to, tidy up areas of concern. That is part of it. However, the talk that people are talking, that means yielding. But to stop it, no, I'm not going to sit here now and say it should be stopped. If it's going to be stopped, it's going to be stopped
by the
National Assembly. And you can see, you agree with me that many of such bills have been stopped. So if it's not popular, if they think it's ill-timed, if they think that it's not in tune with the needs, aspiration of the people, they are true representatives of the people. So let them speak for those people.
All right. Before I let you go, what should we be expecting from your conference in the nearest future?
Well, you are going to see, by the grace of God, a better Conference of Speakers, a better positioned Conference of Speakers. Right now, we are doing certain things, including what I told you about digitalization project that we were not we could not even, contemplate, we could not even think about before. But we are handling it, and with the full support of UNDP. So, by the grace of God, very soon, we are going to complete the what's it called? The pilot phase
of the e-governance.
Of the e-governance or e-parliament. And of course, spread it to other states, House of Assembly. And by that time, you are going to see better, because Conference of Speakers is going to coordinate. Already we are coordinating the activities across the state. So all this is to ensure that we achieve good governance in the country, because we are concerned, frankly speaking. We want what we see in other climes, in respect of good governance. We can do it. If they could do it there, we can do it here. Good e-governance, e-parliament, we can also achieve it here. So Conference of Speakers is going to drive this, and by the grace of God, we will be there together to celebrate it.
Oh, well, I say congratulations ahead. And when this project eventually succeeds, I'm sure that your name will also be in the annals of history as one of the pioneers of e-parliament in Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being our guest on the show today. It's always a pleasure to have you, and we're really, really excited about some of the insights you gave us in the course of this program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so that's our package on Insight. Today, my guest has been Busari Sarafuddin, Director General, Conference of Speakers of State Legislators, and we were looking at the challenges of the state assemblies in Nigeria. Insight will come your way again tomorrow. My name is Lawrence Omoite. Enjoy the rest of your day.